everyone. So welcome to week 6 of distance learning. This week we're going to be continuing our discussion from last week, which was on word problems and multi-step word problems. So this week we're doing multi-step decimal problems, but we're going to talk about it in the context of income and taxes. So just as a reminder, the Zoom calls this week are 12 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday. So just be sure to click the link. The password is math. So some of you have been asked to write a password, some of you not, but the password is math. So just log in if you need help or just want to say hi. So let's start with some vocabulary. So we've talked about income and taxes before this year, specifically when we did that career project and everyone picked 2 potential careers and we looked up how much the taxes would be, how much your income would be, etc. So just as a refresher, there's 2 concepts called gross income and then net income. So sometimes these are called gross pay and net pay. So gross pay or gross income is what your actual salary is. So someone might say, I'm offering you a job and it might be $100,000 or it might be $50,000. So that's what you make on paper. But do you actually take home the $100,000 or the $50,000? You don't. You take home what we call net income, which is your salary after they deduct taxes. So we often call the net pay or the net income your take-home pay. That's what you get after the taxes are deducted or taken away. So what are taxes and why do we pay them? So we've talked about this briefly before in class, but just as a reminder, so these are some examples of things funded by taxes. So taxes are monies that come from different pots, essentially, and consumers either pay for them when they buy things or they're paying for them through their income or their salaries. So So money is put together and sent to the federal government, the local government, and the state government. And so then the governments are able to pay for things. So what are the things that they pay for? So some things that are funded through taxes: education. So our public schools, our libraries, many museums, state universities, etc. So anything related to education. So private universities are not funded by the government or taxes. That's why they are often more expensive. If you compare a private university to a public state schools are a lot cheaper because they are subsidized by the government through tax dollars. We pay for national defense and protection. This means the military, the Air Force, the Navy, the police officers, firefighters, etc. We pay for roadways. So anyone seen someone fixing a pothole, if you've seen anyone creating a whole new roadway, extending highways, that sort of thing, all of that is funded through tax dollars. Public parks, trash removal, so whoever comes to pick up your trash, they are being funded by the government or our tax dollars. Water and sewage. So if you can see here, there's a picture of a water and sewage plant. So the water that comes to us, to our homes that we drink, isn't just fresh water from the beginning. I'm sure you've learned in science that fresh water is very limited on the earth. So in order for us to get clean water, it has to be filtered. So at these water filtration plants, water is filtered and clean and then sent to consumers, us. So who pays for those water filtration plants? Us, through our tax dollars. Then other government services, programs, and employees. So unemployment, there's just a variety of different government services that are funded through tax dollars. So there's 2 other things that are funded through tax dollars, and they're under this umbrella called the Federal Insurance Contributions Act. We call it FICA. So there's 2 things. One is Medicare/Medicaid, and one is Social Security. So Medicare and Medicaid are 2 healthcare programs that give healthcare to people who are considered vulnerable. So this might mean someone who has several kids and doesn't have health insurance. This might mean someone who is low income and doesn't have health insurance. This might mean an elderly person who doesn't have health insurance. They qualify for either Medicare or Medicaid. Social Security is another program that we fund through our tax dollars, which is a retirement program. Social Security is funded through the government and is paid out to people who are retiring. So when you hit a certain age, you've made a certain number of contributions to your Social Security or you've paid it in taxes, you can then retire and the federal government sends you money called a Social Security check And you can use that to pay your rent. You can use that to buy groceries. So it's just a way to help our elderly members of our society. So then in terms of types of taxes, you have three main types. You have other types, but the three main types are income taxes. So again, your salary. So we get charged taxes on our salary. Then you have property taxes. So just like the name infers, property meaning your housing. So if someone buys a house, they have to pay a property tax. So if you're renting a house, you don't have to pay the property tax directly, but you often get it embedded within your rent. Then the third type is sales tax. So whenever you go to, let's say, McDonald's and you buy $1 McChicken, you're not actually spending $1. You have to then pay the sales tax. Oftentimes you pay a food and beverage tax as well. We can talk about that in a little bit. But the sales tax is typically around 5%, depending on the state you're in. So where does the tax money go? So the three main areas that it goes are the federal government, the state government, and the local government.